Hey everyone, as you know, or may know, I'm not feeling well, so I'm just gonna kind of get through this one a little quickly. I don't think there's any preliminary things I have to go over. You already know who is going to be on the cast, why I put everyone together, and generally speaking, my thoughts on this season are going to be more of a vibes season. I think social game is going to be the prevailing factor here. I don't think strategy or comp wins is going to be the thing that makes it. So with that being said, the first comp is going to be the pinball thing. So it's going to be a physical comp. And looking at the people on the season, I think that Anya and Jeannie are going to do pretty badly on it. It's a physical comp. They come in with two of the worst track records. I don't think that's too far of a stretch. Of course, I think Ayana and Sean, I could see maybe not doing well. Dissolve and Jen, I think, could struggle, and Jamie and Zoro, I think, could do bad. But I'm going to say Anya and Jeannie are going to lose, and they'll get they'll get lucky duckies. And in terms of winners, it could be Duncan and Skylar. I'm eyeing them up as an early game comp threat. And Bolivia and Zayden, I think, are going to be a big comp threat. Maybe Kat and Sparky, I could see them. I mean, Jamie and Zoro also, they could go either way for me. They could either be really good or really flop. But I'm going to say Bolivia and Zayden are going to win the first comp. They'll get duckies as well. And I think neither of them will necessarily want the first pilot, but I could see Bolivia wanting it because I'm pretty sure he won Season 24 without pilot, and I could see him, thinking that this is going to be his retirement org. I could see him just wanting to start out, guns blazing, go for it. So I think he'll be the pilot for week 1, Bolivia. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I have to keep stopping the recording to clear my throat. So I think Bolivia is going... See, I think... My thought is that Anya is going to be the first boot. Unfortunately. For those who are new to these prediction videos, this isn't what I want to happen, it's what I think is going to happen. And I think even if Anya and Jeannie don't win the first comp, I think Anya is pretty screwed. Other people that I think could be in danger week 1, obviously this cast could surprise me and go for a big threat right off the bat, but I don't think that's going to happen. My thought is that it's going to be a very lax pre-merge. So I'm gonna say Anya goes no matter what happens, and yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good estimate of the first boot. I just don't... I think Anya and Jeannie are going to lose the first comp. I really don't think it's going to be that Bolivia nominates Anya, so then Jeannie would get Anya's duck. As for who gets nominated, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of these people are pretty active, so it's going to be hard. I could see Bolivia finding a way to nominate another Season 25 girly, so maybe Ayana. I could see him and her maybe not being close in the game. Maybe Kat, I could see. And I know I'm picking all women, but I'm more so picking people personality-wise that I think Bolivia is just not going to vibe with. And, I mean, it could be Duncan as well. I could see them not getting along. But that's what I'm thinking, is probably Ayana. Well, I don't know. He actually has a good repertoire with her. Not repertoire, he has a good rapport with her so far. Which leads me to maybe not think that he would nominate her. But I think I'm gonna say Ayana, Kat, or Duncan, or Jen. Those are the 4 that I think he could nominate. Now, if he nominates Ayana or Kat, I think it's gonna go badly for him. I mean, Duncan too, to be fair. But that's what I'm thinking. Week 2, trying to go off of memory. That's the maze with the arrows and stuff like that. I think Cha and Zeridium are going to take that one. Zeridium is very logical, methodical, he's extremely intelligent, and I see that being right up his alley. And Cha, I think... That was so shady that I didn't say the same thing. Cha, I think, is just really going to do well. I mean, she could also bomb, because it's Cha, of course, I love her, but oof. But I actually do genuinely think Cha is going to crush this one. So, I feel like they're going to win. And I'm going to say Ayana and Sean are going to lose that one. I'm also thinking Duncan and Skylar, because even though Duncan's coming in with, I think, the best track record out of all of these people, I just don't see it. In the sense that I feel like, because he doesn't have Kitty with him, he's not going to place high, but I also think that's going to work in his favor. So, I'm going to say Duncan... No. Oh, whoa. I'm going to say Ayana and Sean. I would have said Anya and Jeannie for this one, but like I said, I think Ayana's going to be the first boot. So with that being said, I'm going to say Ayana and Sean are going to lose. I think Ayana is going to really struggle on this one. And I don't know. Maybe Dissolve or Jen as the other team who's going to struggle. But when I do Sean versus Dissolve over who's going to do better, I would give that one to Dissolve. But would I be surprised if... Point I'm making is that Anya Jeannie, Ayana Sean, or Dissolve Jen is going to lose the maze. And because I have Anya going first, I'm going to say Ayana and Sean. Who does Cha nominate? I don't think she tries to nominate based off of the ducks. Oh, I should mention, I think Cha is going to be the pilot, because Zeridium, I know, looked at the winner stats, or like patterns of winners, the little graphs I made, and I believe that he would use that. I really do. I think, even though I was like, guys, please don't, like, I want the game to run naturally, I think Zeridium would use it only in this instance. And that's one where I really wouldn't blame people, because the Week 2 pilot has never won. In all of the Discord seasons, the Week 2 pilot never wins. I don't know what it is about the Week 2 pilot, I've racked my brain. I think it's a really funny coincidence. You know what, I should do a graph where I map out where all the Week 2 pilots placed, and see, like, are they endgame threats? You know, maybe, is it just something about them? What is it? Because I'm very interested to know. Because I would then try to make the Week 2 comp something where, like, random. Not random, but, like, you know what I mean. So, just to prevent people from being able to try to ignore it, or set it up so that someone who would not normally get that win would win, and then go on to win the season. Or, maybe I could be proven wrong, and no matter what, the Week 2 pilot is always going to lose. So I think Zeridium would really push for Cha to get it. And I could see Cha... Oh, you know what? I would still say Anya would go. And really a lot of that is because she was the last to join, and her time zone is so drastically different from everyone, I could see it hurting her gameplay. Because I don't think Anya's a bad player. Her being the first boot is like a victim of circumstance. That's why I have her as first boot, not because I think she's bad. So, I think Cha would be pretty upset that Anya left, and I could see her really trying to get revenge in a sense. Alright, I just had to take an extended break. All I remember is that I said Cha was going to be the pilot, and probably Ayana and Sean were going to be up for elimination. I'm so torn between them and Dissolve Jen. Because, and Jeannie, don't get me wrong, I do think Jeannie is going to struggle. But I think I'm going to give it to Ayana and Sean. I could really see Ayana struggling with it, and I think that Sean would not do well enough to bring up her score. out of last place. Whereas Solve and Jen, I totally forgot that Jen was her season's track star, meaning she had the best track record in the comps, and she had a pretty damn good one too. I think one of the highest of the people won this season. So I really should not be so quick to count her out of the comps. In fact, I could see Jeannie also not doing well in this one. However, I'm going to stick with Ayana and Sean. But would I be surprised if Jeannie landed last for this one? No. So, I was talking about who I think Cha would nominate. And what I was thinking is that maybe she would try to do some slick retaliatory effort towards Bolivia. Since Anya was taken out last round, maybe Cha would try to get a 24 person up on the block to almost kind of recreate what Bolivia did, where it was two 25s and a 24. Maybe she would then try to do two 24s and a 25. And of the people she could nominate, I don't think she would do Bolivia because they just... it would be too early for something like that. I could see Jeannie, to be completely honest with you. Maybe Zoro. Maybe Cha just doesn't feel she has a good relationship with them. Could be Sean. Could be the same thing where she's not like super pals with Sean, and it just wouldn't be Ziridium. She wouldn't be dumb enough to do that. So, of the people, I mean, she could also just not do that and try to push for Sean to get out, because that also seems pretty likely. Oh my god, I forgot about the bodyguard. Damn it. Well, the week 1 bodyguard would be whoever did the best in the comp. And, I mean, that would probably be Bolivia or Zayden. I mean, whoever it is, I don't think they're going to protect Anya. So, in terms of week 2, I think, because I said Anya and Jeannie would lose, I guess it does matter then who Bolivia puts up, huh? I don't know, maybe he puts up a cat. I could see that maybe just not clicking enough for him to try to save her. I don't think he puts up Sean, even though Sean, doesn't fuck with him. And I think he does have a good rapport with Ayana enough that he wouldn't nominate her. The only other person besides Kat would be Duncan or Jen, because I think he'll get along with Jamie. I don't think he wants to screw over any of his Season 24 people. So I guess that he probably wouldn't put up Ayana. Maybe he puts up Kat to try to make Sparky vulnerable so that she's willing to work with him, but I could also see him leaving Kat alone so that Sparky doesn't distrust him. So maybe he puts up Duncan, just out of, I don't really know you the best. Or, like I said, he puts up Jen because he just hasn't vibed with her. Maybe Zayden would take the week 1 pilot, because I don't know if Bolivia would really find it advantageous to do it. So I'm going to go with that instead. I'm going to switch my previous answer. I'm going to say that Zayden would take the week 1 pilot. Because I think Bolivia, in this being his retirement org, possibly, I think he would really want it to count. So I think he would try to give it to Zayden so that there's no blood on his hands. And I'm still going to keep Anya and Jeannie up for elimination. I think Bolivia or Ziridium would get it, the bodyguard, but I don't think Zayden would try to nominate either of them. In terms of who Zayden would nominate, I don't think he'd try to screw over his Season 22 people. So I think he would keep Jen safe. I think he would keep Skylar safe, because that's Duncan's partner. Unless Skylar tanks, and Duncan is like, can you please nominate her? Just so I can have a better partner. But I also don't think Skylar would go, but would Duncan, think of that? I don't know. Because, when you're in the game, you don't really know who's popular sometimes. So in terms of who Zayden would put up, now I could see Ayana going up. Maybe Sean, maybe Bolivia is like, look, Sean did not fuck with me. If you put him up, I'm really not going to hate you for it. Jamie and Zora would be safe. Kat would be safe because of her connection with Jamie. That was so cool, knowing that they had known each other for years, but hadn't seen each other in years. Whatever, guys. As to who Zayden nominates, I think... I don't know. For me, it's currently between Skylar, Ayana, or Sean. Those are the 3 that I think he would nominate, only because I'm saying that Anya and Jeannie would lose. But my thought is that Xaden would try to help his allies, so I think... This is so sad. We really could have just skipped the first part of the video. I think he would nominate Skylar. I think he nominates her because he would want Xaden to... he would want Duncan to get a better partner. Thinking that maybe she would, you know, possibly be eliminated. Well, actually, no. Because if he gets the idea that Anya's gonna go, because people are like, I don't really talk to her that much, I could see him putting up a Season 22 person that he thinks is not going to go home so that they can get a duck, or an ally of his. It doesn't have to be Season 22. So maybe Jamie is, you know, wants to take a risk and says, look, nominate me, people won't think we're together, and then I can get a duck. Because that's something you have to consider, is that when you nominate someone, you are technically helping them if they live to see the next week, because now they have one more spot in the lottery. So... I guess I'll just say he nominates Jamie, but then Anya still goes home. As for week 2... I think I'm gonna change my answer a little bit. I'm gonna say Jeannie loses, but Ayana and Sean, because they were second to last, they get dragged into the cockpit with her, and then Cha has to nominate a 4th person. Because I really do think Jeannie, especially by herself, would struggle with this, whereas Sean would maybe bring Ayana up to 7th place. But it wouldn't be enough. Because, and this isn't me saying like Jeannie sucks at everything, it's just when you have a cast that was pretty consistent in challenges, and then you have 2 people who were very much inconsistent, it's kind of hard not to predict them as being first boot, or like first to lose. So now we have 2 24s and a 25. I don't think Cha in that instance would try to put up a 24 in retaliation against Bolivia. I think if anything, she would try to put up someone who's either going to soak up the votes or just has no chance at going home but is not going to give her blowback. And... I don't know. Maybe she puts up Duncan, because 22's the only season not represented. Maybe Dissolve, maybe she just doesn't grow a game relationship with him. I think that's pretty possible. But I'm going to say... This is hard. This is really, really hard. And I do want to pick who she would nominate, because that is part of the fun. I say maybe she nominates Duncan. I think maybe she just doesn't grow an in-game relationship with him, kind of like what I said about Dissolve. I think she would just nominate Duncan, and I think he would be really pissed at her. And then who would go home? Between Duncan, Jeannie, Ayana, Sean. I don't think Duncan would go home. I think people would just not even think about him because there's 3 other people, and Duncan has no challenge wins. So I really don't think people would be like, oh my god, like, he was such a challenge beast on his season. But then this season, he's placing like 4th and 5th, probably. So I think the discussion would be... I don't know, I think Jeannie, Ayana, and Sean would be pretty split. I think Jeannie would make enough social connections to escape, and maybe people would feel bad that she was by herself for this challenge and, you know, flopped it. Maybe people would be like, no, we want to give you another chance. Whatever. And then between Ayana and Sean, you know, I'm looking at this cast, and for some reason, there's not, like, obvious first boots. Like, there's no one here that I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that person's gonna go out so quick, yup. Well, that could be Duncan, actually. I mean, it's not like his social game is terrible, but Ayana would have the Season 25s. So that'd be 4 votes to protect her. Well, no, that'd be 3. No, I was right, 4. No, 3. Sean would have the 24s, and Jeannie, I think, would have the 24s. And I don't really know if Bolivia, Jamie, Dissolve would really care to keep Duncan. Like, I think they would rather have themselves than Duncan. think I'm gonna say Duncan is second boot. Something is leading me there. So that means Jeannie and Skylar would be our new team. And now we go into, I believe it was a social comm. It is a social comm. This one could go anywhere. As to who I think is going to excel in the social comm, Kat and Sparky definitely seem like they would do well. Dissolve and Jen, I think they would do pretty well. Jeannie, Skylar, I think they would do well. Oh, and then Bodyguard last week. Anya honestly probably gives it to Cha. Or no, Anya wouldn't get. I said Jamie would get nominated. I think he would probably give it to Zayden. Or maybe Dissolve. I'm so sorry if you heard my voice going out there. That was funny. So I think... I don't think Duncan would get protected by it, is what I'm getting at. So this week, we have... maybe Bolivia and Zayden. Weirdly enough, I could see them... Well... I mean, Jamie would go to Zoro and say, look, we gotta keep our people safe. Because... I think Jamie would want to protect Zayden, and Zoro would want to protect Bolivia. So I think they would go really hard trying to keep them safe. And they would probably work out a deal with Jeannie and Skylar, so that those three teams can protect each other. Kat and Sparky, I think... I said they would do well, but maybe they wouldn't, because Sparky has no one from her season that would be incentivized to protect her. And yes, Kat would have the other Season 25 girls to protect her, but I don't know if they would really prioritize Sparky. Because if Kat lands in the bottom, they'll probably save Kat. And it doesn't even matter what happens to Sparky. This is another one where... Dear God, I gotta wrap this recording up. This is one where Ayana and Sean would probably lose. Them or Kat Sparky. I think... This is hard, because my reasoning for Kat and Sparky is because Sparky has no one from Season 23, but with Ayana and Sean, it's because I don't really see people prioritizing either of them from their respective seasons. Like, I think Bolivia, Zoro, Jeannie, and Zeridium would all protect each other, and not really think twice about Sean. Or if they did, it would be like, here's 1 point, here's 2 points, but I'm gonna give the rest of mine to the people who I'm closer with. Diana, I just think people wouldn't prioritize her. I mean, maybe they would, but like Jen doesn't really fuck with her. I don't think her or Kat would fuck with each other. Skylar probably barely remembers her. So, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say Ayana and Sean would lose because the people from their seasons don't really prioritize them. I think Kat and Sparky would place just above them in the rankings. As for the winners, I could see Jeannie and Skylar. I think both of them have very good social games, and I think in the little group of 4, actually, that I made, Bolivia, Jamie, Jeannie, and Cha's teams, I could see them all being, like, in the top 4, and I think Jeannie and Skylar. Because what I'm thinking is, who would the other 3 teams give their points to? Dissolve, Ayana, and Kat's teams. And I definitely could see Jen getting points over to Kat to protect her. I think Dissolve... Well, no, Dissolve would give points to Jamie and Zoro. I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna say Jamie, Zoro. I think they would have the connections to get people's points. But it could definitely be Jeannie and Skylar. Those are like the 2 that I'm thinking about. And... man, I don't know. I'm gonna say Jamie, Zoro, because I think Kat, Jeannie, and Zayden would all really give them some points. So that's gonna be my pick. I'm gonna say Jeannie, Skylar second, excuse me. Maybe Cha's Iridium 3rd, and then Bolivia, Zayden 4th. Possibly switching with Dissolve and Jen. then Cat Sparky, then Ayana Sean. That's going to be my prediction. So Jamie Zoro, who takes the pilot? I don't know. I think both of them would equally want it. With Ayana and Sean in the bottom two, I could see Zoro putting himself out there. Because maybe, even though I don't think he would prioritize Sean, I think he would want to keep him around just in case he's willing to work with him. And I think Jamie would say, okay, fine, but you have to promise me that Cat doesn't go up. And I think Zoro would abide to that. And I think Zoro would nominate someone from Dissolve's team. Or Sparky. That's possible. It's hard with Sparky because she has a great social game. I just don't know how, people being from other seasons would work with her. So I'm gonna say Jen gets nominated. I think that's who Zoro would put up. Out of those three teams, I don't think he'd put up Cat. I think maybe he would keep Sparky, because I think Jamie would try to set up an inter-team alliance with the four of them. Because I think Jamie and Cat are going to want to have their teams work together moving forward. So I think Sparky's safe. And between Dissolve and Jen, I just think that Jamie would put in a good word for Dissolve, and I think Dissolve would get along better with Zoro, so I'm gonna say Jen gets nominated with Ayana and Sean. It's tricky, because I think any of those three could realistically go home. Sean, I don't think would show his hand by now. I mean, maybe Bolivia would try to push for him. But, I mean, Sean's been playing nice, so I don't really know if Bolivia would think, oh, I got to get rid of Sean while I have the chance. Something in my gut is telling me that I have to go with Ayana. And I don't like that, because I love Ayana. She was obviously one of the original people cast for this season. I just don't know. I don't see it for her right now. Given the, situations I've created in my mind, of course. This, very well could be wrong. Last season's first boot ended up winning and being one of the strongest winners, in my opinion, so what the hell do I know, right? What is up next? Big-ass jigsaw puzzle. Cat and Sparky, I think, would do well. Chaz Iridium, Bolivia Zayden. I think Sean could do well. Jamie Zoro probably does well. I'm looking at Dissolve Jen and Genie Skylar. And I do think I'm going to pick Genie and Skylar. As the losing team, I should say. Let me clarify. So as for who would win, I'm kind of thinking Chaz Iridium. It's that same logic with the maze where, obviously, people can just be good at jigsaw puzzles because pattern recognition, etc. But I also just think both of them are cracked out enough that this would be something they dominate. Now, I don't really know who would take Pilot, because Genie and Skylar are a 24-25 team, and Chaz Iridium is a 24-25 team. So I really don't know who would really want to take priority here. I think deciding who becomes Pilot, that's something I can really hardly predict. Like, the week 2, if Chaz Iridium win, I think I'm right on the money about Ziridium pushing for Cha because of past winners. And maybe, like, the week 1 Pilot, if I get the team right, I think I can pretty much guess who will take Pilot. But, I mean, around, like, week 4, there's so much that could happen. I can't even predict Black Box. Will people target each other based on ducks and all that? So, don't take that prediction too literally. So, I think I'll just say Ziridium. I think they'll just amicably say, Cha, you had it last time, this time I'll take the Pilot. So Ziridium is Pilot. Who does he put up? I think all the vets are safe. He, obviously, I don't think is going to put up a big threat, because he knows that he needs the other big threats. And he sees that Genie and Skylar are up for elimination. So I think Ziridium tries to put up someone that he thinks will get out. A, to get the ducks, or just duck if the person only has one. But I also think he would just want to pick someone who would get out over Genie. Oh, you know what? I might have said that already. Or maybe he just doesn't care, and it's like, as long as Genie is safe. So I think... could be Cat. Oh god, I forgot who I said would get nominated last week. Did I say Ayana? Or did I say Jen? I think I said Jen. Jen would probably give it to Cat. And in a weird way, I could see this being the first time where someone gets blocked. I could see Cat blocking herself, and then Zeridium looking like a fool. I think I'm going to predict that. I think this is going to be when the bodyguard actually is successful. I think Zeridium tries to put up Cat, and that doesn't work. Or maybe he puts up Jen. I don't know, actually. I think it's one of them. But it's funnier if I say Cat, and then... No, Zeridium wouldn't do that. I think... Well, no, because he might not want to put up Jen. I think regardless of what happens, I think Jen goes up. Either she's... Yeah, because I think Cat would just protect herself. Or Jen. One of them gets put up, and the other may get blocked. But it's Cat or Jen that I think Zeridium would put up. Because I think no way in hell he puts up Sparky or Dissolve. And obviously the people from the other, 8-person little alliance I concocted during the social round, I think all of them are safe. I have my same logic for why Zoro would have put up who he put up. So... Genie, Skylar, and then one of Cat or Jen. And the reason why I say one of is I'm trying to decide if it matters in the elimination. I think it would. I think I should just pick. I think Jen ends up on the block. In the cockpit. Because I think Cat would maybe sniff out that it's going to be her or Jen, and I think she just uses it on herself. In the same logic of Kira on Superstars 2, when she told Ash, look, it was you or me, and I knew that if you were safe, I would be screwed, so I just had to protect myself and hope to save you after. And I think that's what would happen. I think Jen would get nominated next to Genie and Skylar. Then who goes home? Skylar would have a good social game, Jen would have a good social game. I think maybe Skylar. I'm saying that there's this group of 8 that are going to be working together, and I think I just have to be realistic, and that Jen would go home. Which is sad. Alright, now we are at Turbulence Week. Let me put Dissolve with Sean. It's going to be a skills test. Or no, that's not right. It's the giraffe kissing game, which was the funniest thing. The reason why I have this here instead of the big jigsaw is I thought it was such a funny game to have for a Turbulence. Everyone's stressed out, oh god, 2 people are gonna go home. And then, it's your challenge this week? It's a giraffe. I thought it was really funny. Who's gonna win giraffe kissing? I don't know. It's an app comp. I think Genie and Skylar are gonna struggle. I think Cat and Sparky could struggle. I don't know. I'm also thinking back to the puzzle, would Cat and Sparky not get last? I'm just gonna stick with it, I don't have time. I can also see Dissolve and Sean, really locking in. I think they would kind of get tired of being pushed around. I'll just give it to them, let's have some fun. Dissolve and Sean win. And then who loses? Oh, I said Jen would get nominated. I really just think she would give it to Cat. Again. Well, no, because she might feel betrayed by Cat. Unless Cat blocks herself. And then Jen goes up, maybe she would understand, well, clearly it was going to be one of us. But I don't know, maybe she gives it... No, I think she'd give it to Cat. No, maybe Jen gives it to Sparky. So, the losing team... Alright, after thinking it over and looking at track records, I think I'm going to keep Skylar and Genie safe, but I'm also going to retract what I said about Dissolve and Sean winning. I'm Alright, after thinking it over, I was going to retract Dissolve and Sean winning. I could still maybe see it. My logic is that maybe people from the group of 8 wouldn't try as hard, thinking that they're going to be safe, and then Dissolve and Sean kind of come out of nowhere and win. Because now I'm also thinking about the puzzle, and maybe Dissolve and Jen would win that. Things to think about. I think I'm gonna keep what I had though. In terms of the giraffe kissing, I think I'll keep Dissolve and Sean. I think the others would maybe underestimate how badly they need to win. And I do think Dissolve and Sean are going to win. In terms of who loses, I sadly have to give it to Genie and Skylar again. Well, no, because in these videos, I always have, like, one person that I'm constantly like, oh, they're going to lose again, they're going to lose again, and that doesn't really end up happening. So, maybe Kat and Sparky. Because I could see Skylar really trying to lock in. But she could also be a little naive and think, oh, well, I have this great big alliance, I don't really have to try. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Genie and Skylar last. Who does... between Dissolve and Sean, who do I think is going to get nominated as a team? I think Sean will want to take it, because I would not be surprised if Sean makes a big move. I think he would try to put up a team who's been consistently doing well, and would serve both of their interests. Now, I don't think... I mean, he could make a bad move and put up someone that Dissolve likes, but I really think Sean... I don't know, I mean, my gut is telling me Bolivia Zayden. I really could see Sean saying, look, we all need to make a big move. Bolivia would probably have a few ducks by now. Well, no, he wouldn't, but... yeah, I just... something in my gut is telling me that Bolivia Zayden would get nominated by Sean. I think if they don't place last, I do think Genie and Skylar would get nominated by Sean. Because I think Sean would use that as like a, I'm just putting you up because of Skylar, I'm not putting you up, Genie, but I think he would want Genie to go home. But I could see him going to Dissolve and saying, look, we need to flip the game. There's clearly a big group, at least of the other 4 Season 24 people who are running this game. Look at the social comp. Like, I was the only one that wasn't in the top. And what did all those top 4 teams have in common? They had a Season 24 person in them. So we need to get him out of there. I mean, maybe he would do Jamie and Zoro instead. Because maybe he would see them as social threats and prioritize that over a comp threat. I don't know, it's like, who does Sean want to get rid of more? And I think maybe he would try to get Zoro on his side and say, you know, let's make a big move, let's be devious, let's be little villains together. So I think I'm actually going to say Bolivia and Zayden get nominated as the other team. And I think, like, Jamie would get bodyguarded, so it could be, I'm right, and Jamie and Zoro get put up as a social threat next to Genie and Skylar, the other social threat. That would actually make sense, because I have those teams as top 2 for the social comp. Well, now that's a little interesting to me. It depends on how much fire he wants to provoke. Because I think it depends on if he thinks he can get out Bolivia. Because if he knows that the votes are there, I think he would just send it. Because I don't think Zayden would really retaliate against him for knocking out Bolivia. I mean, yeah, they're in that alliance, but Zayden is sneaky. So I don't really think it would give him that much blowback. I mean, yeah, Cha and Zeridium would probably go after Sean. And I think he would consider that. But he would also be a target if he puts up Jamie and Zoro going after that big group of 8. So, I don't know. I mean, Sean is smart, but he also is opinionated and strong-willed. I don't think, as much as I think it'd be the better move probably to put up Jamie and Zoro, because you know you're getting out at least 2 social threats, I think he'd put up Bolivia and Zayden. because I think they would have been doing pretty well in all of the comps. Like, I didn't have them winning that many, but I think they'd be consistently near the top, and I think Sean would just try to take the shot right before the lottery. But I'm iffy on that. It could very well be Jamie and Zoro, because they and Jeannie Skylar were top 2 for the social comp, so clearly they're like the crux of that majority alliance. Though, I could see him putting up Cha and Zeridium, because I believe they have 2 comp wins so far in my timeline. So Sean may see them as like the muscle of that big group, and if you take out the muscle, then everyone else around them falls apart. And he may be trying to play it low-key and not warn Bolivia that he's in danger. So if he puts up Cha and Zeridium, he says, well, this is about Cha, this isn't about Zeridium. So I think I'm going to go with that. I think that would be more likely to happen. Because Sean's a risky player, but I think he would try to play it smart. So we lose one of Jeannie and Skylar, and then one of Cha and Zeridium. That would sting. So I'll start with Jeannie Skylar. By the way, if it is Jamie Zoro and Jamie gets blocked by the bodyguard, that being Kat, I think Zoro would stay. I think Jeannie and Skylar would go out together. But that's not my official prediction. In terms of Jeannie Skylar, I'm going to go with... As horrible as this is, I think they would get rid of Jeannie. I think now that Bolivia and Zayden, Jamie Zoro know, oh crap, like, we are getting targeted because of that connection. I think they would try to drop her, because I have had her being last in all the physical comps, and I think they would just vote her out, so that way, when they move forward after this week, they have that in their pockets. They're like, okay, we have a good competitor on our side, we don't have to worry about her losing. And even less about her losing, it's just, we now have more allies who could win. So I'm gonna say Skylar makes the merge this season. Or no, she made the merge last season. She just didn't get jury. Now, Cha Zeridium, that is a hard one. They could get rid of Zeridium because he always, shows his hand. He always does that. However, in these prediction videos, I always overestimate the cast's ability to get rid of a major threat. Which is why I'm kinda leaning towards Cha. Even though Zeridium is like the obvious person you would get rid of, I'm also thinking about that big group. Though I do think Kat and Sparky, maybe even Dissolve, would try to keep Cha. When you look at Bolivia, Zayden, Jamie Zoro, who would have the majority votes, I just don't see why they wouldn't want to keep Zeridium. I mean, maybe Bolivia, for example, would want to take the shot, but I think also Zeridium would be a good shield. And I think that I tend to overlook that thought process. So I'm kind of thinking Cha would go out. At least over Zeridium. Now, when I look at this pre-jury, or pre-merge, excuse me, does this feel realistic to what could happen? A little bit. The only people that I think could be in the pre-merge instead would be like Sean. He could reveal his cards too early. Kat, because of time zone. Sparky, she's the only 23. Skylar, because she just doesn't have the connections to other people. But I feel like this is relatively realistic. Maybe not the order, but I think that group of people is realistic. So now we're at Final 10, and it's an art comp. I think Skylar and Kat are going to do well. In terms of who's going to lose... Oh, Zeridium. Zeridium is always underrated by me and everyone when it comes to art comps. I'm thinking we could see, like, Jamie place last. Oh, no, Dissolve. Something that might... Well, I can't remember how Dissolve did on his art comps. I also need to go soon, so... I'm just gonna go off of vibes. I'm gonna go back to Jamie. As much as I think he would have a good concept, I think the execution would be bad. I also think Zoro is probably gonna try to use AI. So, I don't know. I think I'll say Jamie. As for who wins, I I feel like I could see Cat. Maybe Sparky. I think it's gonna be between Sparky or Zeridium for me. Maybe Skylar. But I don't think she made it to her season's art comp, so like, who the hell knows? But there's something about Skylar's archetype of player that does well in art comps, so that's kind of my top 3. I think I'm gonna give it to Sparky. I feel comfortable with that. But Zeridium is like, he could win. Oh, and then the lottery. There's no way for me to predict that, guys. Like, the way I'm setting it up is every duck has an equal chance of winning. So, it's, you know, it's not a weighted lottery, it's just you have more spots in the lottery. So there's no way for me to predict that. So I think what I'm going to say is... No, I'm gonna give it to Zeridium. He always does so incredibly well in the art comps. I think he would just edge out Sparky. I'm so sorry, Sparky. I'm sure you put up a good fight. And he puts up Sean. I mean... Duh, right? Oh, and since Cha and Zeridium got nominated, they both picked the bodyguard. Zeridium, I think, would pick Bolivia, and I think Cha would pick... Funny enough, I think she could pick Zayden. I could see her picking like a Sparky or a Dissolve. Definitely not Sean. Oh, I guess it matters, because Dissolve might protect Sean. You know, I wonder though, if Sean does pull off that big move, does he rope in Sparky and Dissolve? Because if either of them get picked, or anyone, well, I guess just Cat, actually. Because if he can pull through a small militia, then they may all want to protect him, knowing that he's the target. But I also just think Sean, I think, based on my little storyline, I think he would kind of screw himself there. So I'm gonna put Sean there. I think he would have tried to make a big move, and it just didn't work out. And I think Zeridium got revenge. What do we have next? Oh boy, touchy subjects, always fun. I mean, this could be, I think all of these people, maybe except Skylar, could do well. I think maybe Sparky wouldn't win because she doesn't know everyone. I mean, you don't really have to know people, but it certainly helps. I think Bolivia, I'm gonna say, would win. Also because I do really need to wrap this up within the next, like, 10 minutes. Bolivia wins. I'm gonna say Skylar loses. I actually do think I was right on the money. I think she really would not know these people enough to succeed. Who... Wow. My brain literally hit pause. Who does Bolivia nominate? I don't really think he tries to go for a big move, necessarily. He could. Does he try to save Skylar? I don't really think so. I don't think he would want her to go home. I really don't think he'd care if she went home. I could see Kat maybe not liking him by now, kind of my reason for why I thought Jess wasn't going to like Bolivia. So I think I'll just say Kat gets nominated next to Skylar. I think by now, that big group of 8, now they're down to 6, and one of them's up for elimination, I really think it'd just be a free-for-all. I think like Jamie and Zoro might start to work with Dissolve in trying to break up that big group. I think Zayden would kind of be on the outs. I think Bolivia and Zeridium, would start to make their own Final 2 deal to kind of like rerun Season 24, even though I don't think either of them would be loyal to that. I think for now they'd play nice. And I think Jamie would have incentive to keep Kat. And I think he wouldn't mind Skylar going. So I'm gonna say Skylar is the first juror. I think that seems fair. Okay, now we have an app comp, the Blocky game. Bolivia cannot play. It's an app comp, so Zeridium is already in my pick for who's gonna win. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm gonna have to do it. I think Zeridium. I really do. But who does he nominate? Because he could make a big move. I really could see him trying to get out a big threat. But who is that big threat? That is the question. Maybe it's Kat. Maybe he tries to get her out again. Oh, God, who loses? All these people did well to good on their season. I think I'm going to go with Zoro. I mean, it could very well be Sparky, don't get me wrong. I think that's pretty reasonable to suspect. Because it's not like Zoro's trash at comms. I just think compared to everyone, it would start to look rough for him. But, like, he did okay. I'm looking at his stats right now. He did fine on his season. I think I'll go Sparky instead. And I think Zoridian would have incentive to keep her around. I think he would try to keep her safe. I feel like Zayden would be his blind spot. I think he wouldn't nominate Zayden, but I think he really should nominate Zayden. I'm gonna say, like, Dissolve. No, because, I mean, would he try to get out of that? I guess if he thinks that Jamie and Zoro are starting to try to work with Dissolve, maybe. I mean, maybe he just puts up like Jamie or something. Oh, I said Kat got nominated, she would give it to Jamie. Last time, by the way, I was referring to last time. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think, once again, I think Zeridium would try to, I don't know, didn't I say Zeridium would try— oh, no. I said that Zeridium might get blocked earlier. I think I was wrong. I think, actually, Zeridium would go over Cha. No, because I said the big group would have incentive to keep him. No, I think I should switch it. I think I'm gonna put Cha back in the lineup instead. And would Sean still go? Because I said Sparky would probably win. And I don't really think she'd put up Sean, either. I'll just put Skylar back. I don't really think she would nominate or want Sean to go. I think, if anything, she would be grateful that he tried to break up the majority. I could see her putting up a Bolivia. But I also think Bolivia would get the bodyguard from Zeridium, and I think he would just use it on himself. Maybe Sparky would put up like a Jamie or Zoro. That would feel realistic. Or maybe like a Zayden, because maybe she would try to put up someone, like if it gets blocked, maybe she puts up someone who's close to Bolivia, so that way it's like, well, if I can't get you, I'll get your teammate. So yeah, maybe I'll say Sparky puts up Zayden. Then I forgot who— wait, are we at Final 10? Yeah, Final 10, okay. Oof. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's Zayden. Because I think she would want to keep Jamie safe. But I forgot who I said was going to lose the art comp. I feel like I said Dissolve or Jamie. I feel like I said Jamie. Or Sparky. No, I didn't say Sparky, that's why she is winning. Between Dissolve or Jamie versus Zayden, do I think they would chop Zayden? I mean, I could definitely see it. I mean, That's hard, because I feel like I'm just gonna put Dissolve. Between him and Zayden, I just think people would have incentive to keep around Zayden. Which is crazy, because Dissolve has been the runner-up twice, so me putting him pre-jury is wild. Now we're at touchy subjects. I'm gonna say now Sean goes home. I think Bolivia wins. I think Skylar loses. And I think Sean would go up because he started the whole thing of putting up Cha and Zeridium. So I'm gonna say Sean goes. Probably gives bodyguard to, like, Cat or Sparky. Right? That's what we're at? Yeah, we're at the app comp. Kind of thinking Sparky again. Just something in my gut. I think I'll go with it. I'll say Sparky loses. I could see Zayden winning, sure. Jamie or Zoro, yeah. Cha, possible. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Cha. Cha really impressed me with her comp skills on 25. And I think by now she definitely would have had a win. Well, I don't know, her track record wasn't really that great. Maybe I'm wrong. I know Zayden's was decent. Yeah. I'll switch it. I'll say Zayden. I said Sparky would lose, which that's who I would have had him put up. I mean, maybe he puts up Skylar as like a pawn. Because Dissolve isn't here for him to put up as like a you two tried to take us down. I'm not gonna sit with that. I think he would be close with Cat and Jamie, so maybe he would try to keep Sparky safe. Maybe he puts up... Well, It depends on who Zayden would work closer to. So I'm gonna say Zayden puts up Skylar. Because I don't think he puts up Cha. I think by now, Skylar is like expendable to him, whereas he would probably want to keep Sparky around so that he can like kind of help flip the game onto Bolivia. So between Skylar and Sparky, I think Skylar goes. I'm gonna bump her up one position. Alright, now we're at a skills test. Cat, I think. Bolivia, maybe. But I'm gonna say Cha. I think she's into stuff. Oh, that sounded bad. I think her niche interests would let her be pretty good at this. So I'm gonna give this one to Cha. I think Cat is gonna lose. I don't know why. This doesn't feel like something she'd be successful at, but I also think Jamie and Zoro would not be too great. And Sparky, actually. Ooh. Maybe Sparky. Might go Sparky again. Ah, that's tricky. I think I'll go Sparky. No. Maybe Cat. I mean, regardless, I think Bolivia would be cooked. I just think that the tides are turning on him. I just don't see him making top 6. I think this is a pretty realistic top 6. You know, it's got strong players in it. So now we are at Cursed Bodies, our final turbulence. So sad. And... who's gonna win? It's a slide puzzle. Cha can't play. And I don't really think she gets nominated here. I think taking out Bolivia, people would be pretty okay with her. I might say Cat. I feel like Cat could win this. Maybe Jamie or Zayden. Those are my 3, but I'm gonna say Cat. Which, oh no, puzzles. Who would have puzzles made about them? I think Zayden would. I just think, well no, because would Jamie and Cat really turn on him like that? Like, I think by now he would have shown that he's willing to kind of work with both sides. I'm actually gonna say Zoro has the puzzles made. I kind of think Kat, Sparky, and Jamie would just ditch him and then go with Zayden, because Zayden is more of a shield than Zoro. So I'm gonna say Zoro is up from puzzles made in their likeness. I'm almost wondering if Sparky would go up. Because I think Kat and Jamie would try to think like, okay, who can we beat in the end? And I definitely could see Sparky... would Jamie really do all that well? I might say Sparky again. I don't know why. No, I'm gonna say Jamie. I think Sparky's been doing orcs for so long, I think she's got slide puzzles down. Kind of like why I'm putting Kat. I think Kat would just, like, have it. So I'm gonna say Kat tries to figure out how to keep Jamie safe, and I think she puts up Zayden. No, I think she puts up Cha. I think maybe Cha would be seen as like a social and comp threat. She's just coming off of a win, and she beat Bolivia. So maybe they're like, we gotta get her out of there. She probably thinks, if I put up someone that Sparky wouldn't want to save, maybe, maybe I can keep Jamie safe. And I don't know if she would put up Zayden, per se. Because I could see them working together. But also, he may be seen as Bolivia's right-hand man. So they just might want to clean him up. Well, it really depends on how the game has gone so far. This one I don't think I can accurately predict. But I do think Kat and Sparky will be in the Final Four. That's my constant. Jamie and Zoro I have up for elimination. Who does Kat put up to keep Jamie safe? I think maybe Zayden is seen as pulling the strings. No, she puts up Cha because Zayden would tell them, I want to keep Jamie safe. That's what would happen. Okay. Zayden makes it to Final Four. Why the hell not? So who do Sparky and Zayden vote to bring to the Final Four? I could see Zayden maybe going back on his word, maybe trying to blindside Jamie because he's worried about the Kat-Jamie dynamic. So I think Zayden votes to keep maybe Cha. Honestly, maybe Sparky keeps Cha. Maybe she, pulls the whole Cha as a shield. So maybe she keeps Cha in. No, I don't know, because Cha would have done better in comp so far. I mean, I think Jamie, Zoro, and Cha would all have one win. No, Cha would have two. Maybe she doesn't keep Cha. I think... Okay, here's my prediction. I think Zoro is kept by Zayden, and I could see Jamie kept by Sparky. No! Actually, no. Because I would hope that Sparky is smart enough to see, I gotta break up this duo. So then it comes down to Zoro and Cha. I feel like Cha, having 3 wins by now, they would get rid of her, right? So I'm gonna say Cha and Jamie go out. I'm putting Cha first because I think Jamie would at least get kept if the vote tied, and also I could see one of Sparky or Zayden keeping Jamie, making the tie. So my final 4 for my draft is Zayden, Kat, Sparky, Zoro. What a draft. Not really unrealistic though, I think. Zayden is the only one where I'm like, really? No fucking way, guys. Look at this. Zayden's from 22, Sparky's from 23, Zoro's from 24, Kat's from 25. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. But, that's fun. I am gonna keep that. What do I think is gonna happen? Well, actually, let's look at the comps. Round 1 is a luck comp. I mean, it is a gambling theme this season. I don't think that's unrealistic for me to do. Ooh, Community Day started. Okay, yeah, I definitely gotta wrap this up. I don't know. Pick whoever you want. I guess Zayden. I think he'd be the most reserved. No. I think Zoro, I'm gonna say. Also, unlike previous seasons, I don't like know who I'm picking as the winner at this Final Four, because usually when I get to the Final Four in my prediction videos, I know what I'm gonna do. I don't this time. I'm thinking Zoro wins. Now, of course, the twist is that it's Knight's moves, but in teams of 2. I think, based on the jury so far, it would definitely be leaning pretty Sparky. So I think Zoro would try to pick the person who he thinks is most likely to successfully get her out of there. And I'm thinking he picks Kat. No! I think he would pick Zayden, because I think Kat and Sparky would be the 2 biggest threats left. Like, social threats to get jury votes. Because Sean probably would vote for Kat or Sparky. Skylar would vote for any of them, but I could see her leaning towards one of the girls. Bolivia would probably pick Zayden, but Bolivia is also responsible enough to vote for the best player. Cha is the same, but I could see maybe Zoro being worried about a girl in the finals. I think Jamie would definitely vote for Kat or Sparky over Zoro. So I'm gonna say he picks Zayden, and I actually do think they'd be successful. I think the 2 of them would move on to the final pilot. And this is tricky. Who would win? I'm gonna think Zayden. I think he would beat out Zoro. But also, like, would Zoro have a friend help him? Maybe. Oh, I got a shiny. Maybe Zoro would. I could kind of see that. I think regardless of who wins... Well, no, because I think Zayden or Sparky would get taken out. Or Kat, maybe, but not really. I think they would see Sparky as the biggest threat. And I'm gonna put Sparky 4th. My logic is that I just think they'd be scared of her having the best storyline going into the finals. Even though Zayden is a winner, I just think they wouldn't want to chance that, right? Okay, here's the thing. I don't think Zayden's gonna get this far. I just don't. I don't think the winners who come back for All-Stars ever get this far. The only one I can think of is PX on Season 15, and that's because he was such a low-key player. Zayden is anything but low-key. I mean, he's not crazy. But I don't think Zayden's gonna get this far. If anything, I could see maybe Cha swapping places with him. But that's not even based on logic, that's based on vibes. And it's hard to believe that... Okay, so... I think Zoro and Zayden would vote for each other, because I think they'd be worried about Kat. And you know what? I always do this with Zayden, because I'm about to put him in the final 2. And I made him my Superstars 2 winner pick, and that failed spectacularly. I can't do this to myself again. Because I want to win the draft for once. I really do. I just don't see why they would let Sparky anywhere near the final 2. I'm looking at this right now, trying to think, like, okay, where can I put Zayden that's more realistic? Because there is absolutely no way in hell, right? There's no way in hell. It's just when I think of, like, anytime he could go home, there's always a bigger threat than him. Like, maybe during Touchy Subjects. Maybe I'm wrong about Bolivia winning. That's the only place where I could see it happening. Who else could win Touchy Subjects? Did Bolivia even win it on Season 24? Because maybe I'm just making stuff up about him. Because I think that's very realistic. I'm gonna double check. Oh, Sean won Touchy Subjects on that season. I mean, he's not making it there. But Bolivia did get second, so okay, I feel a little justified then. I do think Bolivia would go there. I think they would have to get rid of him by now. I really feel like... it's setting up for Zayden to get that far. Damn it, Zayden. Ugh. Because here's the thing, right? If it's Zayden versus Zoro in the final two, I think Zayden's gonna win. Is Zayden really gonna be the 5th two-time winner? I don't think so. That doesn't seem likely to me. The other alternative is that Sparky makes it gets saved over Zayden. Like, maybe they take out Cat. Well, no, because even then, I think Zayden would do well in the qualifier. Like, that seems like something he would do well on, and definitely something that Cat and Zoro would not do well on. Like, if anything, maybe I could swap out Zayden for Dissolve. That's the only other place where I'm seeing Zayden could realistically go. It's just like, I want to root for Zayden, but every time that I've had him go far, he flops. That's the only reason why I'm so hesitant right now, is like, there's no way in hell, right? Well, I'm thinking of touchy subjects. I mean, not touchy subjects, cursed bodies. Maybe Jamie doesn't do the worst? That could be it? Like, I could be wrong about that. I think that's pretty fair. I'm just not sure where else. I'm looking through real quick, like, did they have a cursed bodies? You know, I don't think they had cursed bodies on that season, weirdly enough. So I don't know how Zayden would do. That's crazy. Usually I do that every season. What do you know? Good for me. Keeping it fresh. And Jamie, I don't think ever did a jigsaw puzzle, so he could actually be really good at that. Or slide puzzle, excuse me. He could be incredible at them, who knows? But then, like, I don't think Zayden would do horrible at a slide puzzle either. And the only reason I have Cha going there is because I just don't see Zayden going when Jamie is still there. This final 6 I'm tripped up by. I just don't think I can have Zayden in my top 4. Or at least have him in my top 3. Because from there, I think he goes on to win. I'm gonna have to change it. I can't do this. Zayden has to be 4th for the sake of my draft. If anything, that is more likely. Maybe Cat and Sparky actually do better against Zayden and Zoro. I don't know anymore, guys. Cat and Sparky vote each other through. I think Zoro... I think he's just in a losing position. I think he knows he's screwed. I think if anything, he pushes Sparky through. Well, I guess Cat would only have Jamie as like a locked vote. I think Zoro could like think he can work with the rest of them. Whereas Sparky is like, she would have the best story. Even if she flopped a bunch of comps, I think Zoro knows like you don't have to win a bunch of comps to win the season. I mean, he saw Bolivia win. I'm pretty sure Bolivia had 0 wins, or 0 pilots, rather. So, I think he pushes Cat through. Or no, because in my timeline, Sparky has no wins. Well, like I just said, he's seen you don't need to have wins if you have a good social game. I think if anything, Zoro's logic is, maybe I could beat Cat in a jury vote. And also, it comes into a comp. Okay, I'm going to say that Cat and Zoro are top 2 of the season. Now, who wins? When I think of everything I'm postulating for the season, right? I have Zoro being more of an underdog player who got in a majority alliance, you know, had a win, and then just kind of got to the end. Whereas Cat, she was fighting more of an uphill battle. So it's like, what do I think this jury will respect? Someone who was fine and safe the majority of the game, or someone who had to fight for her spot in the end? And if I had to take a guess, Bolivia would vote gameplay, and I could see him voting for Zoro. I think he'd want someone from his season to get a win, and I think he would respect the fact that Zoro was safer than Kat most of the game. Kat, I think, would get Sparky and Jamie. Skylar would go to Kat. Zayden, I think, would go to Zoro. So I'm at 3-2 for Kat. Sean and Cha. I mean, maybe Cha would hate Zoro so much that he votes Kat out of spite. I think we're gonna say Kat wins 5-2. That's gonna be my prediction. I have to go, so no cute little outro. But this is my official, locked-in prediction for All-Star 6. The only people that I think I have too high are Zayden and Cha, just because they're winners. I think Zoro will probably get into trouble way before then. But this is what I came up with. And now I have to go, and also my throat. Goodbye!